In this video, I am going to show you how we can configure summarization rote leakage. In the previous video, we learned how we can configure manual summarization. Now I'm going to show you how we can configure rote leakage in manual summarization. Here we have two routers, router 1 and router 2. In the router 1, I configured EIGRP with classic method, and in router 2, I configured EIGRP with the named method. In both of them, I will show you how you can configure rote leakage. For example, in the router 1, this is our text file. We should summarize the four networks 172.16.00/24 and to 172.16.30/24 to, for example, 162.16.0.0/22, and also here we need to leak the network 172.16.2.0/24. It means that beside of the summary, we should advertise this network to the router 2. It is so easy. For configuration of the rote leakage, you need to use the previous command that for the manual summarization, IP summary address, EIGRP AS number, summary network, summary mask, and here you need to use the leak map keyword, leak map, and after that the route map name. In this route map, you should select the network or networks that you want to leak. For example, you can configure a route map. In this route map, you can use access list, IP prefix list to match the networks, and after that you should apply the route map here. Don't forget, all networks that route map permit will be leaked. Let me to show you. In R1 now we have neighborship with the router 2, show IP EIGRP neighbors, and also in the router 2 show IP EIGRP neighbors can show us we have neighborship. Also in the router 2 show IP route EIGRP can show us this is the routing table of R2. These four networks were learned from the router 1. Now I'm going to summarize them, configure terminal. You know that if you use the command interface serial 10 IP summary address for EIGRP1 to 172.16.0.0 to 552552520, here in the router 2, we will have a summary, and all of these subnet networks were suppressed. Let me to show you, as you can see here. Now we want to leak the 172.16.0/24. In the router 1, first we should select this network with IP prefix list, for example A, permit 172.16.0.0, then /24. Actually now we are selecting this network, or other network, for example 20. Let me to remove it because I want to leak the 172.16.20/24. Okay, and then now we need a route map. The route map name can be anything, for example route map leak, and then permit 10 match IP address prefix list A. Okay, this route map can be monitored with the show route map command, and now this route map, the leak route map, actually can be used for leaking the network. Here in the router 1, in the serial 10, again, first let me to remove the previous command, and now this is the previous summary command that we used. Okay, now we can use this command, IP summary address for EIGRP1 172.16.0.0 to 552552520, but now here you need to use leak map keyword, and after that the name of the route map, okay, that we configured before. Route map name is leak. Because of that we should use leak map and then leak. Now in the router 2, let me to show you what is happening. Show IP route EIGRP can show us we have the summary network, and also we have the leaked network 172.16.2.0/24. Again, in router 1, let me to show you now the router 1 status about the routing table. Show IP route EIGRP can show us that we learned these four networks from the router 2. I want to send the summary of these four networks from the router 2 to router 1, but with the leaking of this network 172.17.2.0/24. Again, in router 2, we should configure the prefix list or access list. Let me to use access list here. Access list, for example 1, permit 172.17.2.0, for example. And after that, now let me to configure the route map leak, permit 10, match IP address, then 1. This is the ASCL number. and then show route map can show us that we have the route map with the name of leak. And then in the here, because I configured EIGRP in named mode, router EIGRP lab address family IPv4 unicast AS number 1, and in the AF interface serial 10, previously we configured summary address 172.17.0.0 but now we should add the keyword leak map and then the name of our route map. The name of route map is leak. That's it. And then in the router 1, now we expect to see the summary of these 4 networks and also 172.17.2.0/24. As you can see here, we have the summary network and also the leak network. You can use the summarization route leaking in some scenarios. For example, when you want to choose one router as the best path to reach one specific network.